Hey guys, welcome to Marcus Loves Movies. My name is Marcus Lee and welcome to my Reacher season review. We've got 8 episodes that are available to watch on Amazon Prime and I am here to talk about it with you. If you don't know about Jack Reacher, you're about to know about Jack Reacher. If you don't know about the novels by Lee Child, can I encourage you to go pick up one of them, 2 of them, read them because they are absolutely fantastic. So, gonna give you a quick plot outline and then we'll talk about the season. When retired military police officer Jack Reacher is arrested for a murder he did not commit, he finds himself in the middle of a deadly conspiracy full of dirty cops, shady businessmen, and scheming politicians. With nothing but his wits, he must figure out what is happening in Margrave, Georgia. I picked up my first Jack Reacher novel back in 2012. It was actually my mum who gave it to me. She said, Marcus, read this book. You're absolutely going to love it. And she was right. I did. That book was worth dying for. I couldn't put it down, read it in a week. And then I discovered it was book number 15 in a series of novels about this guy called Jack Reacher. And I thought, right, I've got to go back to the beginning and read these books from the start. So then I picked up Killing Floor and I read that again very, very quickly. Absolutely fantastic book. And this is what this season is based on. Jack Reacher is an absolute boss of a character. The thing that jumped out to me when I was reading these novels is I could imagine him, how he would look on screen. Obviously, Lee Child is very descriptive, great books in how he describes this character, this 250-pound, 6'5" guy, takes no prisoners, very intelligent, great character that is made for the big screen. Killing Floor was written in the late 1990s, and I think that's the reason why this show on Amazon Prime has a real 90s feel to it. It's that classic thing of a guy wanders into town, nobody knows who he is, so everyone assumes he must be trouble, and when trouble does happen in the town, they all assume it must be him. Then he starts to work with the police to figure out what is going on. Turns out he's more intelligent than everyone thinks he is. He's obviously built for action, and we get all of that good stuff. One thing I really liked about this season is the fact that there's a buddy cop element to it, which is a real 90s thing. If you think back to 90s shows like Lethal Weapon, Beverly Hills Cop, 48 Hours, you've got 2 cops who've got to work together who don't like each other to begin with, but as the film progresses, they're going to get to know each other and then they're going to have each other's backs. Often a black cop working with a white cop, real 90s thing. Here you've got Reacher working with a detective called Finlay, white and black, working together. At the start, they don't like each other, but they've got to work together to figure out who is guilty of these murders. Alan Ritchson is absolutely fantastic as Jack Reacher. When you read about Reacher in the books, this is how you imagine him on the big screen. He's got this Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry vibe about him where everything he says is really cool, calm and collected. In the trailer, we see him handle 4 guys, and before he handles them, he says something along the lines of, you know, I'm going to break 3 of your wrists. Here, why not handle all 4 of us? Well, one of you needs to drive to the hospital. Who says stuff like that? Who's got that stuff in their mind already? That is Jack Reacher, and he plays it so well. But it's not just about looking big and bulky on screen, because Reacher is a highly intelligent, well-educated character, and Ritchson has reams and reams and reams of dialogue to reel off, and he does it well, and he completely looks the part. I just thought he did such a fantastic job playing this character. There are lots of other classic 90s elements which I really enjoyed about this series. Like I mentioned, you've got this guy called Detective Finlay, who's a good cop, stiff upper lip, doesn't get on with Reacher to begin with, but you get to learn lots about his character, and I think the characters in this are quite well-rounded. The primary characters are anyway, and as the show progresses, you know he's going to go on a little journey himself, and towards the back end of it, minor spoilers here, I'm not giving any major plot points away, but you know he goes from that stiff upper lip character to a guy who ends up with your Bruce Willis Die Hard vest, and he's running around with a gun. Really like that stuff. You've also got Bruce McGill, an actor who often plays antagonist, playing one of the main bad guys here, and in this he's not even trying to hide the fact that he's a bad guy. He says things like, yeah, I'm a baddie, I'm a bad guy, I'll kill them, I don't care, I'm a bad guy. And it's okay because it adds to that 90s vibe, and I'm here for it. There's a ton of action in this series. There's lots of fight sequences, great choreography, explosions. So if you like all of that stuff, you're in for a ride. One thing I'll say, there's also flashbacks in the season, which sometimes can be a bit of a bad thing because they take you out of the main story, but even the flashbacks are done really well. If I had to find a criticism about this season, it's a bit of a reach, but it's probably a criticism about the character, and that criticism is that you never really feel like Reacher is in a position that he can't fight his way out of or talk his way out of. So you never feel like Reacher is in any danger that you're genuinely worried about him. There is a moment in the season where Reacher is in a position where you're thinking, oh dear mate, are you going to be all right? But you always feel like he's going to dig himself out of it, or he can talk his way out of it. So for example, there's a point where Reacher has to find a character who is somewhere in a 200-mile radius of where he is, and you always feel like Reacher's going to find a way to find him, because he's going to say, well, he's going to go hide in this place because of this, and this, and he's going to use an alias, and I know exactly what his alias will be, even though I don't know him from Adam, but, you know, he's a fan of the Beatles, and, you know, therefore he's going to use an alias of one of the Beatles surnames and stuff like that. Just things like that, which probably seem a bit superhuman, but maybe that's just what the character is. Watching this season and this version of Jack Reacher means we also need to talk about the other version of Jack Reacher. We need to talk about Tom. We need to talk about Tom Cruise and his portrayal, because whilst I did enjoy the Tom Cruise movies, this Reacher just puts him in the shade. And I like Tom Cruise, and I like the fact that he tried to do something, but as a fan of Reacher, we never felt it was okay for Tom Cruise to play the true depiction of Reacher. Reacher is 250 pounds, 6'5", and Tom Cruise isn't. Lovely guy, but he's not that. So I'm so glad that we've got this version now of Reacher, and we'll go forward with this version of Reacher as well. If you were to ask me, hey Marcus, what were your favourite episodes of this season? I would respond and say, hey friend, my favourite episodes were episode 1, because I thought the way they opened the season, the way they introduced the characters was fantastic. And I think episode 7 and 8 were really great because the way they wrapped up this season. Episode 8 especially was like being at the movies, full of action, full of entertainment, so much happening on screen. I thought they did such a great job with this show. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I just loved it. And when it ended, I wanted more immediately. So I want a season 2, and season 2 has to be based on Die Trying, right? Because I know there are so many great books, there's so much great material, and maybe the showrunners think, actually, we really like book 5, so let's base our next series on that. But then you're missing out on all this great material in between. And from memory, because like I say, it's 10 years since I read these books, I loved Killing Floor as a book, but I thought Die Trying was better. I thought it was an improvement, and yeah, I would love to see a season based on Die Trying. So yeah, I really like this season. I highly recommend it. You should definitely watch it. So my official Marcus Loves Movies rating for Reacher is, mini drum roll, 4.5 stars. So roll on season 2, really excited to see where this goes next. Really hope it's based on Die Trying. It just has to be. So that's what I think about Reacher. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section. Whilst you're here, please give this video a like. And if you like reviews like this one, can I encourage you to subscribe to this YouTube channel and to hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I release a brand new video. Would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching my review. Hope to catch up with you again soon. So until then, take care of yourselves, and thanks for watching.